Hello again. So in this lesson, we will study the remaining question words. We've already studied who, what, and where. Now look at the other question words. When? When is the party? It's on Sunday. Why? Why is he happy? Because he is well. How? How are you? I'm fine, thanks. How tall? How tall are you? I'm 6 feet tall. How big? How big is the book? It's about 400 pages. All right, now here are some more questions, and note these answers. Hello, how are you? I'm fine, thank you. How is she feeling, or how is she? She's all right. She's okay. How long is the desk? It's about 3 feet long. How long is the lesson? The lesson's about 2 hours long. How long is the book? It's about 200 pages long. How tall is the boy? He's almost 5 feet tall. How large is the chicken? It's about 3 pounds. Okay, and now let's practice some of these. I'm going to give you the question and the prompt or the cue, like this. Hello, how are you? Fine. And then you make the response. I'm fine, thank you. Okay, easy stuff. Hello, how are you? Fine. I'm fine, thank you. How is she? Okay. She's okay. How long is the desk? 3 feet. It's 3 feet long. Good. How long is the lesson? 2 hours. It's 2 hours long. Or the lesson is 2 hours long. How long is the book? 200 pages. It's 200 pages long. Good. How tall is the boy? Almost 5 feet. He's almost 5 feet tall. Very good. And now we're ready for an exercise. In this exercise, you will see questions and a word indicating feeling, size, time, or number. And then you must write the answer using that expression. So here's an example. You'll see, hello, how are you? And fine. And you'll write the response, I'm fine, thank you. Okay? Good. Now, put your program on pause. Look at the study guide. And please continue with the exercise. Come back here when you're finished. Okay, let's review. You saw, hello, how are you? Fine. Your response, I'm fine, thank you. She's all right. It's 3 feet long. It's 2 hours long, or the lesson is 2 hours long. It's 200 pages long. And he's almost 5 feet tall. Very good. Hi there. In this lesson, we continue our study of question words, and we add some time expressions. So look at the possibilities in this graphic. We use in for months, as in July, in August, etc. We use on for dates and days, on June 1st, on July 27th, on Sunday. And we use at for time, at 6 o'clock, at 3:30. Okay. Now, look at the following. You'll see the question word when with various possibilities, the class, the appointment, the holiday, the meeting, the reunion. So the question would be, when is the class? When is the meeting, etc. And on the right side, you'll see possible answers with in, on, and at. It's on Sunday, or it's at 2 o'clock, or it's in July, or it's in August. All right, and now let's practice making questions and answers. I'll say the question word and provide the information. For example, when, the class, and you make the question. When is the class? That's quite easy, right? Okay, let's go. When, the class. When is the class? Good. When, the appointment. When is the appointment? Okay. When, the holiday. When is the holiday? When, the meeting. When is the meeting? Perfect. When, the reunion. When is the reunion? That's great. Now let's go another step. This time, I'll say the answer, and you make the question regarding that answer. Let's try this. For example, it's on Sunday, and you make the question, when is the party? Okay? Or when is the appointment? Here we go. It's on Sunday. When's the party? Good. It's at 2 o'clock. When's the meeting? That's good. It's in August. When's the reunion? It's on Saturday. When's the holiday? Good. And finally, it's at 7 o'clock. Okay, when's the appointment? That's great. And now, let's summarize our use of the question words. Look at the graphic. WH question words ask for information. The question words are who, whom, what, which, when, where, why, and how. So who becomes who's in the classroom? The teacher, for example. What's your name? It's William. Which book is better? This book is better. When is your vacation? It's in August. Where's the men's room? It's behind you. Why is the clock slow? It's not working. How much is the bread? It's $1. Now, look at these question words again. Who asks about a person. What asks about an idea or thing, or asks for a definition. Which asks about a particular person or thing. When asks about time. Where asks about location. Why asks for reasons. And how asks about feelings, condition, and amount. In this exercise, you'll have an opportunity to write questions with all of our question words. So, for example, you'll see the affirmative sentence and the question word. Example, she's from Japan. Where? And you write the question, where's she from? Easy, huh? Okay. Pause the program. Look at the study guide. Do the exercise and return here. Let's review that exercise. You saw she's from Japan, where, and you wrote, where's she from? Good. My favorite actress is Sandra Dove. Who? You wrote, who's your favorite actress? The teacher's from Spain. Where? You wrote, where's the teacher from? His favorite movie is The Prince. What? You wrote, what's his favorite movie? I'm 6 feet tall. How tall? You wrote, how tall are you? Her birthday's in July. When? You wrote, when is her birthday? The professor's from Italy. Where? You wrote, where's the professor from? The fire truck is red. What color? You wrote, what color is the fire truck? My address is 125 Elm Street. What? You wrote, what's your address? And my phone number is 777-8825. What? You wrote, what's your phone number? Good job. Hello. The focus of this lesson is the use of have and has. We learned in an earlier lesson that have is an irregular verb. We use it for many situations. Look at this diagram. Singular, I have a book. You have a book. Plural, we have books. You have books. Then singular, he has a book. She has a book. It, the book, let's say, has many pages. And then plural, they have books. Okay, here are some additional sentences with the verb have. The book has 100 pages. It has 12 chapters. It has a lot of information. The year has 12 months. It has 365 days. They have dictionaries. They have money in their pockets. Okay, so shall we practice some of these? I'll say the sentence, then I'll say a pronoun. For example, I have 2 dictionaries, the pronoun we, and you make the sentence with the new pronoun. We have 2 dictionaries. Got it? Let's try some of these. I have 2 dictionaries, we. We have 2 dictionaries, okay? I have 2 dictionaries, he. He has 2 dictionaries. And the pupil. The pupil has 2 dictionaries. Great. Maya. Maya has 2 dictionaries. Helen and Maria. Helen and Maria have 2 dictionaries. You? You have 2 dictionaries. We have 2 dictionaries. She has 2 dictionaries. One more quick practice. I say, Arturo, 3 books. You say, Arturo has 3 books. Quite simple. Here we go. Arturo, 3 books. Arturo has 3 books. Good. Maria, 6 pencils. Maria has 6 pencils. I, a dictionary. I have a dictionary. Or, if you're responding to me, you have a dictionary. You, 2 notebooks. You have 2 notebooks. We, 4 glasses. We have 4 glasses. Great. They, a red book. They have a red book. He, a girlfriend. He has a girlfriend. That's Just perfect. And now let's do an exercise. You must make complete sentences using the verb have. You will see Salim blank an Arabic dictionary. You get the picture. You write, Salim has an Arabic dictionary. So easy. Okay? Now, pause your program, look at the study guide, and please do the exercise. Come back here. Let's review. You saw Salim blank an Arabic dictionary, and you wrote, Salim has an Arabic dictionary. Maya has 3 notebooks for school. We have 7 students in our English class. Masayo and Maria have long hair. Carlos has a blue suit and a white shirt. Professor Chung has a doctorate in philosophy. Mrs. Ortiz has a career in business. You have 3 minutes to learn this lesson. They have very clever friends, and I have a dictionary and a thesaurus. Good work. Hi again. In this lesson, we'll continue our study of present tense verbs. Present tense, of course, refers to present time or now. Listen while I read a passage about teachers and students. In the classroom, the teacher uses markers, an eraser, and a whiteboard. He assigns homework. He writes on the whiteboard and in his notebook. He gives tests to the students. He also corrects the tests. The students review their homework. They also use their dictionaries a lot. The teacher pronounces his words carefully. He speaks slowly and carefully. All right, now I'm going to read the passage again, and I'm going to ask you to repeat each sentence after me. Read it exactly as I say it. Okay? Once more. The teacher uses markers, an eraser, and a whiteboard. He assigns homework. He writes on the whiteboard and in his notebook. He gives tests to the students. He also corrects the tests. The students review their homework. They also use their dictionaries a lot. The teacher pronounces his words carefully. He speaks slowly and carefully. Okay, good. I just want to remind you, it's always a good policy to speak aloud and to repeat these exercises as often as you can. Now let's try some practice. In the practice, I'll say the verb, for example, use, and you will try to make a sentence with it. For example, the teacher uses markers, or the teacher uses a whiteboard. Let's begin. Use whiteboard. That's good. The teacher uses a whiteboard. Use markers. The teacher uses markers. That's very good. Or he uses markers. Assign homework. He assigns homework. Good. Give tests. The teacher gives tests, or he gives tests. All right? Write. He writes on the whiteboard. That's okay. Or he writes in his notebook. Good. Correct. He corrects the tests. Review. They review their homework, or the students review their homework. Speak. He speaks carefully or slowly. And use. He uses an eraser, or he uses markers. That's great. Now this exercise is a dictation. I will read each sentence 2 times. You must write each sentence in your study guide. So put your program on pause, get your study guide, and return here for the dictation. Okay, here's your dictation. Write these sentences in your study guide. I'll repeat each twice. Number 1, the teacher uses chalk, an eraser, and a whiteboard. Again, the teacher uses chalk, an eraser, and a whiteboard. Number 2, he assigns homework. Again, he assigns homework. Number 3, he writes on the whiteboard and in his notebook. Again, he writes on the whiteboard and in his notebook. Number 4, he gives tests to the students. Again, he gives tests to the students. Number 5, the students review their homework. Again, the students review their homework. And number 6, they also use their dictionaries a lot. Again, they also use their dictionaries a lot. And that's it. Very good. Now, compare your written work with the sentences on the screen. Hello. In this lesson, we'll turn our attention to frequency words, or frequency adverbs, the technical term. We use adverbs to modify or change verbs and sentences. Frequency adverbs, or words, explain how often. They usually precede, come before the verb. I often speak slowly in class. The students usually study hard. Never means it never happens. I never speak in class. Rarely, maybe 10%. Seldom, 20%. Sometimes means about half and half. I sometimes speak in class. And often, 70%, usually around 85%, and always. I always speak in class. Note, frequency adverbs sometimes come at the beginning, but also at the end of a sentence. Sometimes I speak in class. Okay. Now, look at these examples. The students never sleep in class. They rarely speak Spanish in class. They seldom speak Czech in class. All three of those are negative or almost negative. Never, yes, negative. Rarely, almost. Seldom, almost. And look at these affirmatives, right? The professor sometimes brings pictures to class. Helen and Willie often study together. The students usually review their homework. They always study the lessons carefully. Okay, now let's try a practice. This practice is difficult, but it's fun, and it's very useful. I'll say 3 words. I'll say a noun or a pronoun, David, a frequency word, never, and a verb, speak. And you will create the sentence. You'll have to construct it. You'll have to complete it. So David never speaks French in class, or David never speaks Czech. Got it? Not so hard. Let's try it. David never speak. Good. David never speaks Arabic at home, or David never speaks Czech. Another one. They rarely sleep. Okay, they rarely sleep is fine, or they rarely sleep during the day. That's good. More. He seldom bring. He seldom brings his book to class, or his notebook to class. Good. We usually study. Okay. We usually study in the library or at home, whatever. I sometimes review. I sometimes review my homework. Good. The students never practice. The students never practice their lessons. You always study. Okay, you always study the homework, or maybe you wrote, I always study the homework. Good. The instructor often draw. The instructor often draws on the whiteboard. David usually sleep. David usually sleeps on the train, or David usually sleeps in class. Oh dear. All right, in this exercise, you'll see a complete statement with a frequency word. Now, the object is to write 3 sentences for each sentence you see in the exercise, but you will use pronouns. So, look at this example. David always studies in the morning. And then you write, for example, he never reads in the morning. He sometimes reviews his homework at 8 o'clock, or he rarely reads at night. 3 possibilities and a lot of opportunity to create different sentences. Got it? Fun. Okay, put your program on pause, look at the study guide, and continue the exercise. Return here afterwards. Let's review the exercise. You saw David always studies in the morning, and you wrote 3 additional sentences. He never reads in the morning, for example. He sometimes reviews his homework at 8, or he rarely reads at night. There are many possibilities, right? Okay, and then number 2, Professor Hill usually speaks slowly in class, and you maybe wrote, he often speaks in class. He usually speaks in the morning. He often speaks before the class. And number 3, students never sleep in the classroom. Maybe you wrote, they always sleep on the train. They seldom sleep before class. And they always sleep late on Sunday mornings. Number 4, Helen always writes her homework at night. You wrote, she rarely writes her homework in the morning. She seldom writes her homework before class. And she never writes her homework on the weekends. Number 5, you saw, I always do my homework, and then you wrote, I sometimes do my homework before class. I often do my homework on the train. I never do my homework on the weekend. Very good. Hi there. In this lesson, we will look at frequency adverbs again, this time with the verb be. And we'll also practice some possessive adjectives. So we learned that frequency adverbs, like usually and often, precede, come before, other verbs. For example, listen carefully to these sentences. The doctor frequently goes to the hospital. Frequently is also an adverb of frequency. The doctor usually goes to the hospital. Now listen to the be verb sentence. The doctor is often in the clinic. Notice that the verb comes first and then the frequency word. The doctor is often in the clinic. The doctor is frequently in the clinic. Look at this graphic. Frequency adverbs follow the verb be. I am usually in the classroom in the morning. You are often at home. She is sometimes in the cafeteria. He is never at school. It is never too late for English. We are rarely at the office. They are seldom in the restaurant. And compare. The doctor always goes to the hospital, other verb, and then he is often in the clinic, be verb. Okay. Here are some statements and questions for further practice. Take a look at these. I am usually happy, and then question, are you usually happy? You are rarely unhappy. Question, are you ever unhappy? He is never lazy. Question, is he ever lazy? Notice, never in the question form becomes ever. He is never lazy. Is he ever lazy? And we are always on time. Are we always on time? They are seldom at home. Are they ever at home? Why ever? Because seldom is almost negative as never. They are seldom at home. Are they ever at home? They are rarely at home. Are they ever at home? They are never at home. Are they ever at home? Okay. Now, let's try this practice. Listen to the sentence, I am usually at home on Sunday. Listen to the pronoun, you, and then make the sentence with the new pronoun. You are usually at home on Sunday. Got it? I am usually at home on Sunday, you, and then you say, you are usually at home on Sunday. Good. Here we go. I am usually at home on Sunday. You? You are usually at home on Sunday. Very good. He. He is usually at home on Sunday. Great. They. They are usually at home on Sunday. You. You are usually at home on Sunday. He. He is usually at home on Sunday. They. They are usually at home on Sunday. Now let's continue this exercise, and this time you choose the frequency word. Also, now remember, you have a lot of choices. Often, seldom, always, never, frequently, usually, rarely, sometimes, a lot of them. Okay, I'll start again. I am usually at home on Sunday. You. Good. You are never at home on Sunday. He. He is rarely at home on Sunday. They. They are always at home on Sunday. We. We are sometimes at home on Sunday. You. You are often at home on Sunday. She. She is always at home on Sunday. He. He is frequently at home on Sunday. Robert. Robert is always at home on Sunday. I am never at home on Sunday. That's just perfect. And now I've got just a variation in this exercise. Let's give it a try. The variation is this. I'll make the sentence. The student is never in class. Never, of course, is negative. The student is never in class. And you'll make the question. Remember the question with never? So the question becomes, is the student ever in class? Or is he ever in class? Listen once more. The student is never in class. Question, is the student ever in class? Or is he ever in class? Okay, and listen once more. He is usually at the baseball game. And the question, is he usually at the baseball game? Pretty easy. So let's give it a try. Okay, here we go. The student is never in class. Okay, is the student ever in class, or is he ever in class? He is usually at the baseball game. Question? Is he usually at the baseball game? That's perfect. She is rarely at home. Negative. Is she ever at home? Beautiful. They are seldom happy. Negative. Are they ever happy? That's perfect. Here we go. We are sometimes unhappy. Are we sometimes unhappy? And they are always in the library. Are they always in the library? Okay. And I am frequently at home. Ask me. Are you frequently at home? Perfect. Now let's look at the possessive adjectives. We already know adjectives like sad and happy. They are descriptive. They describe the noun. Okay. These new adjectives, the possessives, show possession, who it belongs to. Listen to these sentences. Rebecca has a book. It's her book. It's Rebecca's book. It's her book. Her is the adjective, right? And I have a watch. It's my watch. My is the adjective. Here are some more examples. I and my. This is my book. You and your. That is your book. She and her. It is her book. It's her pen. He and his. It is his pen. It and its, belonging to a thing, right? So those are its numbers when we talk about a clock, or those are its hands when we talk about a clock. We and our, this is our class. And they and their, that is their hotel. Okay? Let's review these possessive adjectives in this practice because they're very important. I'm going to say the word in the sentence and I would like you to repeat after me. I am often in my classroom. You are frequently in your home. She is always in her hotel. He is seldom in his room. It is never in its place. We are usually in our classroom. They are rarely in their car. All right, great. Memorize these possessive adjectives before you go on to the next lesson. In this exercise, I'd like to ask you to create sentences by writing the correct be verb, a frequency adverb, and the correct possessive adjectives. Should be fun. Look at these examples. I usually house. And the complete sentence, I am usually in my house. She never car. The sentence, she is never in her car. Okay? Good. Now put your program on pause. Look at the study guide. Continue the exercise and return here afterwards. Let's review. You put frequency words together, created sentences with the correct possessive adjectives, right? So, for example, in number 1, you saw I usually house, and you wrote, I am usually in my house. Okay? She is never in her car. They are often in their classroom. You are always in your room. We are often in our hotel. She is seldom in her automobile. It is never in its place. He is always in his room. That's very good. Hi there. This lesson returns us to other verbs. We will study negative statements with other verbs. Look at this graphic. For negative statements, we use base forms. Do not or don't for I, you, we, they, plurals. Does not or doesn't for he, she, it, singulars. So I, you, we, they, the doctors don't stay at the hotel. And he, she, it, Robert doesn't stay at the hotel. It, the dog maybe. Now remember, don't and doesn't are contractions. We usually use the contractions for negative statements, even in writing. But the long forms do not and does not, they're usually for emphasis. Now, look at this graphic and these comparatives between affirmative and negatives. We cook tomatoes in tomato sauce. We don't cook potatoes in tomato sauce. Eggs go into omelets. They don't go into stews. He fries eggs in a frying pan. He doesn't fry eggs in a pot. She boils water in a pot. She doesn't bake bread in a pot. All right, so let's practice these. And we'll practice negative statements with foods. So, for example, I'll say the pronoun, I, and the food, potatoes, for example, and you'll make a negative statement. I don't like potatoes. Got it? Here's another one. He, bread. He doesn't like bread. It's pretty easy, right? Okay, so let's go ahead. I, potatoes. I don't like potatoes. That's great. He, bread. He doesn't like bread. Okay. You, carrots. You don't like carrots. She, eggs. She doesn't like eggs. I, peas. I don't like peas. They, spaghetti. They don't like spaghetti. He, cereal. He doesn't like cereal. We, milk. We don't like milk. You, coffee. You don't like coffee. Maria, stew. Maria doesn't like stew. And Arturo, omelets. Arturo doesn't like omelets. Perfect. And now an exercise. In this exercise, you will have the opportunity to write the negative sentences we have just studied. So you will see, Robert fries eggs every day. And you'll write the negative. Robert doesn't fry eggs every day. Or he doesn't fry eggs every day. Now notice the spelling of the word fry. Fry, the Y becomes I and then ES. Robert fries eggs every day. Negative, he doesn't fry eggs every day. You got it? One more. They boil eggs in a pot. Negative, they don't boil eggs in a pot. That's it, plain and simple. So now, put your program on pause. Look at the study guide. Continue the exercise. And please come back here when you're finished. All right, let's review this exercise. And remember, you've written answers that may contain pronouns. Pronouns are perfectly okay. Here we go. You saw Robert fries eggs every day, and you wrote the negative. Robert doesn't fry eggs every day, or he doesn't fry eggs every day. The next one, they don't boil eggs in a pot. She doesn't make stew every Saturday. He doesn't use potatoes in his stews. She doesn't make coffee every morning. We don't eat spaghetti with tomato sauce. He doesn't bake bread in an oven. That's great. Hi again. In this lesson, we'll study yes and no questions and answers. Look at this graphic. Do or does precedes the noun or pronoun subject of the sentence, and we also use do or does in the yes or no answer. So, do I stay at the hotel? And the yes, yes you do answer, or no, no you don't answer. Do you stay at the hotel? Answer, yes I do, no I don't. Do we stay at the hotel? Yes we do, or no we don't. Do they stay at the hotel? Yes they do, no they don't. Do the doctors stay at the hotel? Yes they do, or no they don't. And then the singular group, does he stay at the hotel? Yes he does, or no he doesn't. Does she stay at the hotel? Yes she does, or no she doesn't. Does it stay at the hotel? It is maybe the dog, maybe the cat. Does it stay at the hotel? Yes it does, no it doesn't. And does Robert stay at the hotel? Yes he does, or no he doesn't. Notice that the short answer, yes he does, no he doesn't, is very common. And also notice that the base form of the verb is in the question. Do you stay? Stay is the base form of the verb. Good. Now I'd like you to look at just a few more examples here. Question, does the class begin at 8 o'clock? Yes it does. Do the violinists practice every day? Yes they do. Does the doctor treat all of his patients in the hospital? No he doesn't. Do the cooks use tomatoes in everything? No they don't. All right, let's practice. In this practice, you'll have the opportunity to make questions with other verbs. I'll give you the verb and information, like say, the practice, and you'll create a question with do you. So that becomes, do you say the practice? Got it? Okay, so let's go. Say the practice. Do you say the practice? Good. Speak Spanish. Do you speak Spanish? Good. Like spaghetti with tomato sauce? Do you like spaghetti with tomato sauce? Good. Fry eggs in a frying pan. Do you fry eggs in a frying pan? Perfect. Bake potatoes in the oven? Do you bake potatoes in the oven? That's great. Now, let's try the questions. This time I'll provide you the same information, the verb, the information, but I'd like you to make does she questions. So I'll say, practice English every day. You make the sentence. Does she practice English every day? Great, huh? Here we go. Practice English every day. Does she practice English every day? Borrow books from the library. Does she borrow books from the library? Write exercises clearly. Does she write exercises clearly? Make stew for dinner. Does she make stew for dinner? Copy sentences in her notebook. Does she copy sentences in her notebook? Fine. That's a great job. In this exercise, I'm going to ask you to write two expressions. First, you'll write a question using the information given, and then you'll write a short answer. Okay, here's an example. Speak Italian. So you write, do you speak Italian? And then a short answer, yes, I do. Or, negative, no, I don't. Here's another possibility. Does the doctor speak Italian? Also good. And the short answer, yes, he does. Negative, no, he doesn't. Not so tough, right? So put your program on pause, look at the study guide, and continue the exercise. Please return here when you finish. Let's review this exercise. You wrote two things. First, you made the question, and then you wrote the short answer. So, speak Italian. You wrote, do they speak Italian? Short answer, yes, they do. Or maybe you wrote, does he speak Italian? Short answer, yes, he does. Bake bread at home? Does he bake bread at home? You answered, no, he doesn't, or yes, he does. Pronounce words carefully. You wrote, does she pronounce words carefully? Yes, she does. Do they give examinations at the clinic? Yes, they do. Does she correct English exercises? No, she doesn't. Do we play the violin regularly? No, we don't. Does she study the piano? Yes, she does. Do they boil eggs for breakfast each morning? No, they don't. Do they cook for his girlfriend? No, they don't. Very good. I'm back. In this lesson, we'll do a comparison of be-verb questions with other verb questions. Please take a look at this diagram. Are you unhappy? Are they in the room? Two be-verb sentences, questions. And do you want some fun? Do they need instruction? Other verb questions. Am I sad? Are we friends? Be-verb. Do I have my notebook? Do we need more practice? I and we, other verbs. And here, is it 7 o'clock? Is the student smart? Be-verb. Does the clock still work? Does he learn quickly? The other verb. For be-verb questions, we invert. Change the position of the verb and the subject. For other verbs, we precede the sentence with do or does and use the base form. Now, look at these questions. These are what we call or questions. They provide a simple choice of answers. Do you want coffee or tea? And the answer, tea, please. Well, maybe it's coffee, please. Does she need niacin or calcium? Niacin. Do they study French or English? French. Does the instructor want a pencil or a pen? A pen. Do I need a jacket or a coat? A jacket, or a jacket is fine. Does he suggest a newspaper or a book? A newspaper. These are really easy questions because they simply signal a simple choice. Yes or no, true or false, a binary choice. Now some practice. In this practice, you should say, and of course, it's important to remember to speak aloud, say the appropriate question, okay? So you will hear the statement, the lesson is hard, and you will frame the question. is the lesson hard? That's the be verb. Or you will hear, he studies French. And you will make the question, does he study French? That's the other verb. Got it? Okay, let's try this. The lesson is hard. Is the lesson hard? Perfect. He studies French. Does he study French? They play the violin. Do they play the violin? Good. She's from Ecuador. Is she from Ecuador? They are happy. Are they happy? She bakes every Wednesday. Does she bake every Wednesday? I am a conductor. Are you a conductor? Yeah, good. The teacher pronounces well. Does he pronounce well? Good. She wants milk with her tea. Does she want milk with her tea? That's great. All right, in this exercise, you should write be verb questions or other verb questions. So pay attention to the base form of the verb on each line. So here's what you'll see. The lesson, be hard. And you make the question. Is the lesson hard? Okay. And here's the other variety. The man go Arizona. And you make the question, does the man go to Arizona? Go, of course, remember, needs to. Does the man go to Arizona? Or pronouns, of course. Does he go to Arizona? Okay, that's pretty easy stuff. So right now, pause your program, look at the study guide, and continue that exercise. So let's review. You saw the lesson be hard, and you wrote the question, is the lesson hard? Very good. Does the man go to Arizona? Or maybe you wrote, does he go to Arizona? Does the instructor speak carefully? Do we play the piano? Do they study English? Is the airplane large? Does it fly to London? Do you want an omelet? Do I need help? Great. Hi there. The focus of this lesson is the verb be in the past tense or past time. We use the past tense or past time for yesterday, last night, last week, etc. We have studied the present tense of the verb be in sentences like, I'm at home, the instructor is in the classroom, you are here. Three forms of the present be verb, am, is, and are. Now look at this graphic. Be, present tense, I'm at home, she's in the room today, they are here. Be, past tense, I was at the restaurant yesterday, she was at the library yesterday, they were in class yesterday. There are only two forms of be in the past tense, was and were. So, I, he, she, it was, we, you, and they were. Now, look at this list. Here are some time expressions which signal past time. Yesterday, last evening, the day before yesterday, last night, a day ago, 2 days ago, last Sunday, last Monday, a week ago, a month ago, a year ago, last week, last month, last year. These expressions usually come at the end of the sentence. Here's an example. He was in the park yesterday, or they were at the library a week ago. So let's practice some of these, right? All right. In this practice, you'll have the opportunity to talk about both today and yesterday with time expressions. So I'll say he's in the classroom, and you say the present expression, he's in the classroom, give us a time expression today. Then say the past time expression, he was in the classroom, and give us a time expression for past time, yesterday or last night. Can we do it? Okay, let's give it a try. Now remember, you can use any of the past time expressions. Let's try some. He's in the classroom. Okay. He's in the classroom today. He was in the classroom yesterday, last night, whenever. Good. They are at the library. They're at the library today. They were at the library last week, yesterday, last month. I am in the restaurant. Okay? I'm in the restaurant today. I was in the restaurant last month. You are in the office. You were in the office today. You were in the office yesterday. And she's in the laboratory. She's in the laboratory today. She was in the laboratory last Sunday. That's very good. Time for an exercise. In this exercise, you will write past tense sentences using the verb be. Many of these should be familiar. You'll see the present tense sentence, you'll write the past tense sentence, and of course, use an appropriate time expression. So you will see Maria is at the library, and you will write Maria was at the library last night. Pretty easy. So put your program on pause, look at the study guide, continue the exercise, and return here. Let's review. You saw Maria is at the library, and then you wrote the past tense version. Maria was at the library last night. He was in the office a day ago. We were in the classroom last week. I was in the kitchen last year. You were in your automobile last night. They were in the restaurant 2 days ago. He was in the clinic a month ago. They were at the baseball game last weekend.